And that linear processing system, when it hijacks us, becomes our enemy. And until it hijacks you, it's your best friend. But when it hijacks you and it makes you experience anxiety and misery and depression, then it's your enemy. And that is at the point where you have to find the true reality. And the true reality can be found by sitting, hearing that now. And I've got many words because I'm trying to show you something with this linear system, which is not linear. I can feel the coolness of that water. It's coming from up on Mount Kilimanjaro. I can feel the coolness on the right side of my body as I sit here. I can hear the water running. I can feel the deep freshness of the air around me. I can feel the firmness of this rock on my soft bum. I can feel the tension in my legs as I sit in a not most comfortable a position, but the best comfort I can find. I can feel all of these things going on. But I feel them right here, right here, right here. But it's just took me about a minute and a half to tell you that I feel them. And it's in that minute and a half that I dull what is happening right here. And that is what all of the masters were trying to tell you. All of them.
Spirit bird, she creaks and groans, she knows she has seen this all before. She has seen this all before. She has. Spirit bird, she creaks and groans, she knows she has.
Hey guys, so this is a very beautiful time of the year for me, where I live in the foothills of Mount Kili, because there's always water running. And I find the sound of water running. I always have, since my spiritual journey began, probably before then, to be honest. Well, it began at birth, did it not? The physical and the spiritual start as one. They are just concepts of our human mind after all. And I guess the reason I like running water is because it is beyond our concepts. It's beyond the label of spiritual, physical. That's reality. That constant movement and sound that carries itself in an envelope which is the present moment. That's reality, right there. And when I first started trying to understand my position within the present moment, I would spend a lot of time at the ocean. And now there's no ocean here, there's no beach close by. There are some, but they're many hours drive away. And I used to find the sound of the waves, in whatever form they were, be they heavy and big and crashing or gently lapping at the shore, used to excuse me, used to drag me into the present moment. Now, I find sitting here that this too drags me into the present moment. Water is a very profound and phenomenal substance or being or entity when you learn to address it and look at it correctly. When you learn to look at water and understand that just because you're putting this label on it to say it's water, it's like an inanimate substance we put in ourselves to live, or we pour on our plants to get growth. But water holds its own consciousness, and it is its own teacher. It teaches us a great deal. It teaches us a lot about the path of least resistance, famously put forward in the best words, I think, by Bruce Lee. But in more recent years, we see with Dr. Emoto, who was flash freezing water, that it responds to intention and emotion. When you get deep into the idea that water's alive, and you understand that water's within you, and water's responding to things happening around you, then you start to view it completely differently. And it's a great teacher. To sit and hear it, or watch it, it's probably one of the best open-eyed meditations you can have. It pulls you, drags you into the present moment, in the continuance of the present moment, with the sound it makes and the journey it's travelling. If I want to reach down here, the water's very fresh. It's coming from Mount Kilimanjaro. There's nothing better than washing your face in this beautiful, clean, cold water. Again, enough to drag you into the present moment. Not to steal Wim Hof's concept of cold water, but it's true, it does drag you in there because it gives you that sensory it gives you that sensory experience, and that experience can only be truly felt in the present moment. And most of us only experience that going through our lives on autopilot in certain instances, be they with narcotics. It happens to a lot of people, it brings them into the present moment, they get addicted to it, they're never realizing they can enter the present moment without them. Sexual relations drags you into the present moment. And it's all fun, it's all well said and done, it's all part of reality. But when you can sit here, and you can be still enough and grateful enough for this surrounding, for this sound, that you allow that water to be your teacher, to drag you into the present moment, away from your concepts of spirituality, away from your concepts of what's physical, away from all of those human ideas, and just into the isness that was always intended to be within our reality. And everything's experiencing that isness, that present. Everything is experiencing it, aside from humans in the most part. And the reason humans don't is we've developed a very beautiful and intelligent carnal mind, which allows us to assess danger and evaluate and problem solve. But we use that carnal mind these days using language. And the language we use is not the most common language on the planet. Actually, the most common language on the planet is light, which people don't realize. And I mean conscious use of light by creatures within the deep sea is the most common communication form on planet Earth, is light, the use of light. Now we use sound and symbols and labels, and we use light when we write, and I'm using light now. However, that linear system, as I always say, can only take you away from the present moment if you're not grounded in the present moment to use the system. If I get sitting here now, I can understand in my mind that that is water and it's making a sound, and that is the sound of running water. That's it finished. That's the duty of my linear processing system. It can look at the embankment around me, how am I going to climb out of this area, where's safe, is there any danger before I sit down. This is what it's for. It allows us to be an apex species. It allows us to have the ability to provide for our families, to grow food, to do things other animals are not doing as well as we are. However, then starts the problem of us getting lost in it. Get lost in the idea of I'm spiritual. Get lost in the idea of I'm an atheist, I'm completely into the physical science aspect of it. Get lost in all these concepts, which are opinions, concepts, creations of the human mind, which are ultimately a way of deciphering and discerning reality ahead of you. At the end of the day, when you decipher and discern, it's necessary for our culture, for our society, but it robs you of the present moment. It robs you of the isness, it robs you of the experience of the water running down here next to me. And in robbing you of that, you fall into the trap, because you begin to identify with the linear processing system. And instead of coming out here and in our mass enjoying and experiencing nature as it is, we no longer can, because we come out here and we are thinking of later, we are regretting earlier. We have plans of this and that, we have boredom because we've hyper-stimulated our biochemical machinery into needing certain stimuli, be they movies or drugs or stimuluses in other forms like alcohol, which is a drug in itself, or computer games, or even to some degree sometimes music as well. They are all okay. They are not an evil thing. But when they become something that carry with you, which is what we call addiction, something that you require, and you can't sit here and embrace the isness, which is the moment. You can't live in the way you were created and you grew out of this planet to experience it, to be able to sit here and give thanks. Give thanks to the spirits of this land, give thanks to the spirit of this land, give thanks to the source, Mother, Father, Creator, the Elohim, the Christ. If you can't sit still and experience that, and you seek something to quell your and quench your boredom, then you have been hijacked by your linear processing system. And that linear processing system, when it hijacks us, becomes our enemy. And until it hijacks you, it's your best friend. But when it hijacks you and it makes you experience anxiety and misery and depression, then it's your enemy. And that is at the point where you have to find the true reality. And the true reality can be found by sitting, hearing that now. And I've got many words because I'm trying to show you something with this linear system, which is not linear. I can feel the coolness of that water. It's coming from up on Mount Kilimanjaro. I can feel the coolness on the right side of my body as I sit here. I can hear the water running. I can feel the deep freshness of the air around me. I can feel the firmness of this rock on my soft bum. I can feel the tension in my legs as I sit in a not most comfortable a position, but the best comfort I can find. I can feel all of these things going on. But I feel them right here, right here, right here. But it's just took me about 1.5 minutes to tell you that I feel them. And it's in that 1.5 minutes that I dull what is happening right here. And that is what all of the masters were trying to tell you. All of them. And that's what I see the tribesmen here doing almost more naturally, because they don't have anything pulling them and yanking them away. They haven't been put in an education system which pulled them out of the music of life. To rob Alan Watts' analogy of life being like music, you want to tune into it. It's a perfect analogy. But the education system of ours says no. Somewhere in the song is where your joy will be. The end of the song is where your joy will be. So you're always looking forward to that point in the song, and you never really enjoy and listen to the music of life. And when you get to that point where you're supposed to enjoy it, because you've completely lost the ability to tune in and enjoy it, you fail to take comfort from your life. That's why many people have midlife crisis, where they say, what have I done? What's going on? Because they forgot, they didn't realize that their duty was to tune in and align with it. Instead, they believed that the prize was at the end of the road, and every time they got to the end of the road and turned another corner, they were told the prize was at the end of the next road. And the prize can only be unlocked by going within yourself, or it can be unlocked by putting 100% of your focus. To the degree the concept of focus disintegrates and dissolves into enjoying a simple moment, like a small amount of water cascading down some ancient rocks which have seen more of the world than I ever will. And when you can absorb all of that by relaxing, you don't focus with tension, you focus by letting go, by becoming one with it, which you are. Because when I look down at this water running, the reason I get such great comfort from it is because I've gone into the space of realization that this is me. This is you. We are it. It is us. It gave way for the expression of us, and we give way for the experience of it. Water quenches thirst because we have thirst. Water reflects light only because our eyes allow it to do so. It's us. And only when you've fallen into that space will anything I'm saying make any sense to you. And until then it'll sound wishy-washy and out there. But this is the importance of altering your state of consciousness. Raising your vibration, as people call it. Becoming light. Becoming free of the relentless, compulsive chatter of the mind, and entering the isness, which is ultimately self, the you that goes on of yourself. And if you can't get with that, and you can't understand that, then you try walking without a floor to walk on. You try talking without air to carry the vibrations of your voice. You try breathing without these trees exhaling into you. Can't be done. Because it is you. And you are it. And that's how much a simple rest by a river can give to our minds. So long as we empty them and allow the light and information that it carries and it brings to me today to enter within us. But it can only enter on the same channels. And if you fill that channel with chatter, the subtle whispers of the light reflecting from here, and all of the sensory aspects of it, and the sensory aspects that we don't understand, the realm of the spirit, then you'll never hear it, and you'll never learn, and you'll always expect other people to teach you when all you ever had to do was sit quiet. Because the greatest teachers are all around us. God bless, guys.